Sean Capri. I'm glad you're here because you're listening to the most horse-powerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Ryan Turford, the meteorologist on the Moose, and on our journey today, he played Mortal Kombat, and Starfield's still really fun for me. I don't even know in this very moment. So let's just go ahead and jump on into the Xbox Drive.
No power greater than X.
Hello, Sean Capri.
Ryan Turford, I bought a comic book. It's about Godzilla, the big lizard monster from the Japanese Ocean. And here he is. And I cannot wait to read this book very soon, Ryan. But how are you, my friend?
Well, you know, it's a nice, like, mildly weatherly day outside today.
It is the middle of the night. What are you talking about?
Well, you know, I was just outside because I was just on my way home from work, Sean, and it's like 13 degrees Celsius outside. Although, you know, feels closer to 15. You know,
Donnie,
you can definitely
Donnie,
tell
come back to
fall is here, Sean.
Donnie,
Fall is
come back to
here.
me.
I actually have to wear pants outside now instead of shorts. It's weird. We're at that time of year where things are getting weird, man. Was it too much?
You done?
Yeah. But to answer your question, Sean, I am well.
Thank you. Yes. How are you, Ryan? Yes. That's what I wanted to. That's what the people want to know. The people
also,
want to know how.
We're asking how the great, you know, Mother Earth was doing. You were asking how I was doing.
Yeah. Why? How would you get to Mother Earth? How could you possibly get there?
Look, Sean, life's complicated. Okay. Sometimes I'm thinking outside my own body a little bit. I'm thinking about the weather. You know, it's fine. It's fine.
And people say that I overthink things.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Oh, Tony Baker wants to know what the Humidex is. Oh, well, let me consult my handy dandy chart there. It is 87% because of course it is.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Those are good grades. 87%. I'd be pretty stoked with an 87%.
Not when it comes to humidity though. My hair, Sean, hates humidity because I have like naturally curly hair, but it goes like out of control when humidity actually comes. It's very annoying, especially if I have like long hair, Sean. It gets like super curly when the humidity goes.
Imagine it gets stuck in your beard. You don't want to get humidity stuck in that beard of yours.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. It's like that episode of Friends where the crew goes down south and it's super humid and Monica's hair just like poofs out like all over the place because of the humidity. It's kind of like that. So
do you want whatever you want to talk about for like the next couple minutes? Like I've been meaning to get to this Godzilla comic anyways, you know, like that's you can do your thing.
Keep talking about whatever. Oh yeah. Boy. So let me give you my dissertation on why James Cameron's Dark Angel season 1 is actually really solid. But we should probably clean the garage a little bit. So folks at home, if you want to support the show, there's a number of awesome ways you can do that. Number one, if you're watching the live stream right now over at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, or if you're watching the video on demand later, don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't hit that subscribe button already, and let us know in the comments below what you're excited about coming up this month, or you know, when you think the next Xbox showcase is. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you're listening on audio feeds, don't forget to rate us if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or you know, maybe hit us with a nice Apple Podcast review. Or, you know, maybe if you're on Spotify, you can leave like a nice comment for us. In fact, Sean, I forgot to.
I can tell you're trying to get over to somewhere. You're like, wait,
getting over to Spotify the thing because I forgot to check the comments from last week's video.
Yeah, comments on podcasts. That's kind of neat. Kind of like that. Yeah,
yeah. It's nice. It's not very often that we get that there's comments, but no comments from last week. So, but if those do pop up on Spotify, I'm going to start reading them. Just like I did on the RPG Cave. Also, a lot of people listened to last week's episode, John. It's actually one of the highest in a while. So thank you to everyone.
This show?
Yeah. Just last week's episode about surfing.
I don't know. I never want to know if
that's why I didn't give you the numbers, Sean. There's no numbers. Yeah. I'm just
nice. I don't know. I don't like even being aware that people like it's weird for me to say that. It makes no sense because like clearly people are literally here at youtube.com/carpoolgaming where everybody can be every single Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. my time, which is a much more reasonable time, 8 p.m. Garrett's time. We're not even going to say like Eastern or anything. It'll be Ryan's time, Sean's time, Garrett's time.
I mean, that's what at some point, Sean, we're going to eventually get back into that Eastern Daylight Time thing. And then if we don't say Eastern Daylight Time every single time we say that, Jace is going to scold us.
We're just ET goes home right now, Ryan.
Yes, absolutely. And then last but not least, if you want to, throw a couple bucks our way, maybe get some exclusive content, maybe some early access, some audio, or just one big podcast feed with all the Carpool Gaming goodness, you can head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Carpool Gaming. Throw a little tip in the old tip jar. You can get some exclusive content like the Pants Patreon podcast with Patrons podcast starring me. I was on this week's episode. The Lockleth is taking questions for this week's episode. And we got a whole bunch more cool stuff on the Patreon as well. So go check that out as well. All right, Sean, without further ado, let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist now. And you can stop reading your comic book now because we're going to talk about games.
I put it down. It looks really good though. It's by James Stokoe. Very cool artwork, Ryan. I think you'd like this very much.
Sure.
I think you'd appreciate this. Probably do a comic book.
I can see the pictures, Sean. They're interesting.
I wanted to show you the pictures. I cannot start this one first. I have to finish book 2 of The Wicked and the Divine. Ryan, this is a very cool comic book I've been reading about a bunch of gods that are reborn, and they're a bunch of kind of cool kids, cool youths, young adults. They're a whole bunch of havoc is happening. But guess what, Ryan? They're gonna die in 2 years, and then 90 years passes, and then they come back, and then the cycle happens. It's a very cool premise, very cool comic book I've been reading. But that's it. Xbox games I've been playing. Starfield. I spent this week playing mostly on Xbox, the console, Ryan, on the Series X. Played it like that
after you had shunned it for its slow pointer controls and things like that.
Yep, it changed what I did with it. I mostly was shooting, and I think shooting feels fine, and mostly flying around in space, which even when I play on PC, I grab a controller to do that. It feels way better to me to fly around in space. But dude, I just finished playing over at twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming Live, which might be a thing. Seems like this is working out. Friday nights we'll Twitch stream, and then we'll jump over here. But I finished a mission eventually, like actually just before coming over here, just surveying a planet, getting all the plants and all the fauna and the floral and the whatever else. Dude, I found like this mining facility or something, and I just loaded up on helium-3 and just totally was over encumbered. I think we're all in this situation, and it's just like any other Fallout game or Skyrim or anything else. I just don't remember being this hamstrung by it. The whole I'm carrying too much. So then I got into like my inventory management and where I can like put things, and I don't even honestly. I just spent like the last like 2 hours basically complaining about it. But maybe I'll shorten it up to say like the menus, man. The menus are getting to me. And it's really unfortunate because when I'm playing the game, I'm loving it. When I got to it, the mission I just did was just wandering around a planet, scanning stuff and killing off a whole bunch of like weird spidery things, leveling up a couple times. And that's fun stuff. I love flying around and shooting people and shooting down other ships. I still haven't boarded another one. I got to do that. I want to do that by next week. But yeah, the menus really got to me just now, Ryan.
That was kind of like a big point we had last week with just the user interface in general for this game is just kind of, I don't know, it feels very archaic to me.
How does that happen? Yeah.
I don't know. Like we've been spoiled by too many games that have come out since Skyrim have come out. Cause when I think back to Skyrim, it's not that different than what we have here other than the maps are the only real difference.
And maps are coming. Yeah. Dude, maps are coming. I don't even, somebody's going to have to calm me down because I feel like my heart rate, my blood pressure is a little high up there. I'm very excited to hear this update. Maybe this is a news item we jump into while we're talking about Starfield anyways, but like there are updates coming, DLSS on PC, which impacts me to a great degree. Ultra wide support also impacts me to a great degree. That's all coming. That's all good. Map support is coming, which means that they, like, to me, maybe the same argument could be made for those other 2 items I just listed, but for map support to not be there on day one and for it to be coming, it's like, y'all, how does that happen? You had another year with this game. That means this game is launching incomplete, and that is upsetting to me. And
how does someone not working at Bethesda who plays the game like Phil Spencer not come along and say, where's the map?
Where's the map?
Yeah. Like,
oh man, that's brutal. Like, and I'm so torn because I'm glad it's coming, But I don't know, like, would I have been happier for them to just never add it? I'm not really sure. But the reason that I'm upset, maybe I can articulate this a little bit. The reason I'm upset about it is because I'm dumping my time into it now.
Yeah.
Not later. Like especially that first weekend, I dumped the vast majority of it. Because did he even play it? I don't know, Jace. Maybe he didn't. But I did. And I played a bunch of it without a map.
Right.
Because I played day one, and like, damn it, if I'm back on this soapbox again, the day one experience is not good. And we didn't even cover it on the show. I think it happened when Donnie was on, but like Jedi, whatever the last Jedi game.
Jedi Survivor, yeah.
Thank you. 60 frames now.
Yep. In fact, Sean, I don't know if you saw it, but it ended
8 months later.
It went on sale like a week and a half ago. I ended up grabbing it. I haven't gone to it. You haven't played it yet. It's on the list now.
Yeah.
But it was like half off. So I was like, yes, please. It's fixed now and it's cheap. Like, this was the time I was waiting for with Jedi.
It's coming in the library for me is probably how I will play that game. And yeah, like it just goes to show again, this thing I've been talking about all year, day one, don't buy day one. I'm glad I took back the watch on Starfield. I'm glad that got sent back. I've been spending that money on comic books instead.
Yeah, because I mean, this game will always be in Game Pass, so I mean, you can always go back to it if you're feeling it. Yeah. But you're right; you're not going to want to go back if you've already gotten your time in before this patch comes out. Like, you're not going to want to go back and play this game.
Well, again, and look at Cyberpunk. Like Cyberpunk, I was smart, like so many other people. You read the reviews and were like, "Well, I'm not doing this," and so I might have my first-ish experience with Cyberpunk when it's amazing, like 3 years later. So
that's true.
We'll see, dude. We'll see.
Yeah. Whereas I was a big dum-dum and pre-ordered it on my PlayStation 4 Pro, and man, that was a mistake.
You pushed through. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got my refund after.
Zyger's in the chat here too. I beat the game without a map. How many people have beat the game, rolled credits, run through the story, no map, and it's about to come out? Like, again, it's great that it's coming, but dude, you had a year. Todd.
Again, it's weird that it's something like that kind of slips through the cracks. But to your point about encumbrance, Sean, that kind of ruins things too. Like you almost feel like you're forced into the weightlifting trait, which is just kind of like a little bit of feel bad, because if you don't get it, you can barely carry anything, and then you're constantly in the credits, moving resources back to your ship's cargo bay, which is just not something I really like doing currently in modern games, because like most modern RPGs, Sean, don't do that kind of thing. There's usually like an item limit and not a weight limit. Like usually it's like you can carry 250 items and then you have to start deciding.
I don't know what would
clear
some
stuff out,
honestly.
Well, I think that that works out better because you're usually like 20 or 30 hours into the game before you have to start actually selling stuff, assuming you haven't sold anything to that point. Like it's just to help to kind of keep the menus organized for those games. So I get why that feature is there. But the encumbrance, the starting encumbrance is just way too small.
Agreed.
In this game.
Yeah, like let me hit that later. Like that dude, like why didn't I think of that? Yes. Let me hit that limit much later, but you hit it very, very quickly. And you want to be exploring and learning in the first number of hours. So
yeah.
I mean, we just got me in a bit of a whiny mood tonight because I'm
true.
Still enjoying it.
I was just gonna say, it sounds like you're still really enjoying the game despite all of its problems.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a lot of it's funny. I'd love to play it even just for another like 90 minutes. Cause I have a lot of credits, Ryan. I would like to go buy a spaceship or upgrade my spaceship. Like, I think I'm just about there to be able, and I probably have been there for a while. Apparently 150,000 credits is a lot. So, yeah. And I have that right now, and I'm going to go upgrade. I'm going to go buy a nice ship. I've seen some people design some like X-Wing style ships and all sorts of things. So I'm excited for that part. Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sean, as you'll note on the document, I didn't put Starfield down.
You didn't play it?
I didn't play it at all. Honestly, I didn't even think about it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, after our conversation last week, I was not super high on it. And now that I know all these updates are coming, I'm like, I don't think I touched this game until after that stuff gets fixed or comes in at this point. Like, there's no reason for me to jump in now when I've got other things to play. And I also kind of made a mistake because I tweeted about this, Sean. But I decided to in the middle of the night at like 1 a.m. I decided to fire up the old GameCube. And then I got sucked back into Ocarina of Time on the GameCube.
Promotional disc.
Yes. So this is
classic
the Legend of Zelda
game.
Collector's Edition, Sean, which includes Zelda 1 and 2 for NES, and then Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for N64, but on a GameCube.
How much is that worth? That's got to be worth something. I've never seen that before.
Well, this is like $100. So this was a pre-order bonus for there was like a Wind Waker console that this came with, where it came with Wind Waker and then also this disc. But if you actually pre-ordered Wind Waker, you got a different disc from this one, which actually came with Ocarina of Time and then the Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which is basically just the game backwards, which is pretty cool too. I used to have that disc too, but I ended up getting rid of it a long time ago. But yes, so I played a ton of Ocarina of Time, but to Drellesh's point, I will actually get to Mortal Kombat because yes, Sean, Mortal Kombat 1 came out this week. I got out my big fighting stick here.
Oh, snap.
This is my 8-bit dough wireless arcade stick that I got pretty recently.
Sure is.
It's buttons are super clicky.
Oh,
if you can hear
more. Yeah, more closer. Yeah, nice. Yeah, more.
Yeah. So I've been playing through this campaign. I'm close to the end of Act 2 of the campaign and having a ton of fun with Mortal Kombat 2. This game is awesome. So for folks that don't know, Mortal Kombat 1 is kind of like a interesting attempt at a reboot of Mortal Kombat, where after the last game, Liu Kang kind of has to rebuild the timelines after the events of Mortal Kombat 11.
Obviously.
But instead of doing like the normal reboot thing like they did with Mortal Kombat 9, where it just kind of resets the timeline back to Mortal Kombat, the first game, what they decided to do this time around is, because the timeline is rebuilt by Liu Kang, there's he changed the relationships and the ties with all the characters that exist in the Mortal Kombat. Like, for example, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are blood brothers. That's now awesome. As opposed to being, rivals from different ninja clans, which is super cool.
Can I just say, Ryan, like that to me actually makes almost more sense than the original. Like, I don't know, and maybe it's just because it's recent and it's neat. Like that to me, just, I don't know. That
because they go from being enemies to being, best of friends, but also they kind of have this rivalry going on, which is super cool. So they turn them into good guys, and likewise, because certain events happen mucking with the timeline, certain characters that were good before are actually now evil. So it's like there's like some really interesting things going on there. Also, since Liu Kang is kind of in the role of Raiden, where he's kind of like the god that's kind of leading Earthrealm into the tournament. Raiden is basically takes the place of Liu Kang, so he just starts off as just a normal farmer with no electric powers.
So good, and
he gets you find out how he gets his electric powers in the story, and he's kind of like he has this like budding relationship with Kung Lao. They're like the best of friends, and they just kind of are like buddies hanging out together. Like it's their kind of like buddy story as they go through this this combat tournament. So
question
itself,
hi. Question for Raiden, the farmer, with his newfound lightning abilities, and he is no longer a god. Does he put on like a onesie or some sort of like slippers and rub them in the carpet and go nee, and then static shock you? Just give
he could. I suppose he could do that. That's something I think
that's what it is. Yeah.
He's
hold back for 2 seconds forward with the punch is him going like just rubbing in the carpet, man.
Good God, Sean. Yes, that is something I could see him doing that, Sean.
This is why just I don't make video games.
But I like his relationship with Kung Lao, but also with Johnny Cage, because Johnny Cage is pulled into the story in like a really fun and interesting way. And I love just the relationship between those three characters, because they're kind of like the main characters. Ryan, is the open critic score fair for Mortal Kombat? Well, it's still evolving at this point, Drellesh, because the online just got turned on a couple days ago, so reviews are still kind of like in progress at a lot of sites. Like IGN just finished putting up their final review score like a couple hours ago. So the open critic right now is sitting at like an 87, 88. It's kind of shifting, going up and down. I imagine it's going to fluctuate some more between now and next week. Probably.
Yeah, sitting at an 88 as we record this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But a lot of the complaints are about the online modes, which I just haven't had a chance to get to yet. Because the online for this game is basically the same as Mortal Kombat 11's, which is not a great experience, because it's hopping into standard battles with people, but the online netcode is not great for Mortal Kombat. So that's kind of a downside. But I'll try that out, and I'll talk about that more probably next week as I get.
Is that how you play? Like, is that how are you gonna do online?
I'll do online at some point. I mostly like to play through the story, and then there's a bunch of single player stuff you can do after the story's over, and that's more the stuff I'm into. But I do dabble with the online. Like, I'm not someone that avoids it altogether and only plays the single player. But there's lots of stuff to do, because once you're done the campaign, there's this like invasion mode, which is kind of like this like overhead map. You pick a character and you go around this map, and you have different fights along this map, and depending on where you are on the map, sometimes there's like fog or other environmental things you kind of have to avoid. So it's like that's how you unlock a lot of the cosmetics for the game. There's also the classic like towers from Mortal Kombat 3 kind of make a return here, where you can select one of 4 different difficulties, and there's like a bunch of different characters that you'll fight up the tower. So there's a lot of stuff to do once you're done the campaign. But to Yarden's point, I've heard the MK1 story is kind of fantastic. It is. Like, I'm really, really enjoying the story that they've crafted here. I think Mortal Kombat story, people just don't give it enough credit, because most people don't, haven't really played like the modern MK stories. But NetherRealm, ever since the Mortal Kombat 9 Xbox 360 game, they've done a fantastic job with their campaigns of all their fighting games, crafting great stories with cool character interactions. And this one is probably one of the best ones I've played so far. But I'm not at the end yet, so I'm kind of reserving judgment until I finish the story. But so far so good. Also, this game is gorgeous on Series X in HDR, because you can definitely tell like there's a huge leap in visual quality over the last Mortal Kombat game, like Mortal Kombat 11, because that also got like a next gen upgrade when Series X came out. But this one just like, oh my god, like some of the environments look gorgeous, and the gore, Sean, there's the gore, of course, looks really good too.
Gorgeous, the gore. And Ryan, that leads me to my question. Goro, how many arms we got in this alternate universe with Goro? We got 8 arms, we got 6 arms. Is it a Bucky O'Hare kind of situation?
He's got 6 arms. He's basically a spider, Sean, because he's got 2 legs and 6 arms.
6 arms? Did he always have 6 arms?
He always had 6 arms. Although in Mortal Kombat, the first movie, he only had 4 arms.
That's what I was thinking
they kind of like changed Goro's design from game to game, which is bizarre.
The movie was different from the first game?
Well, no, I think in the first game he had 4 arms, but then they kind of changed him to have 6 arms.
Okay, I'm not losing my mind then. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm too used to like the modern interpretation of Goro where he has 6 arms.
So. Oh, I didn't know he changed. Okay, well there you go. I'm glad I asked.
But also in this game, there's like a ton of classic callbacks to characters we haven't seen in forever. Like characters from that were only in like Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance or Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Armageddon, yes, on the Wii. Yes.
Exactly. Like a lot of characters that haven't been in the Mortal Kombat games since then are here. You've also got like the cameo fighters, which are the tag-in partners that you've got alongside you in their classic outfits. So you got like Sonya or Kano in their classic outfits.
Nice.
Or as well, you can summon a camo version of Sub-Zero, which is classic Sub-Zero, but then you've got modern Sub-Zero. Like, oh, dude. Yeah, there's so much. Like, if you're a Mortal Kombat
cameo
fan,
thing, how is that cameo? Like, it's kind of like they're jumping in. Like, I think about Marvel versus Capcom, but not like really. That. Oh, it is exactly like that. Oh,
it's cool. Exactly like. Well, you can't play as the other characters like Marvel versus Capcom.
They just jump in and do
a move. The little jump in thing from Marvel versus Capcom. It works exactly the same. So it's there to kind of help you boost your combos. So. Like a lot of times I'll like do like a 3-hit combo and then I'll summon my cameo fighter to then hit them and bounce them kind of off the wall area. And then I keep juggling them in the air or doing the combos from there.
Dude, when you talk about it like that, like it makes even more sense. I knew you liked fighting games like this. But as soon as you mention it like that, it's like that plays like a rhythm game.
Yeah. You have to have like very, very good timing, especially Mortal Kombat in specific. Is Street Fighter, there's a lot more leeway with something like Street Fighter or Guilty Gear with a lot of the combos and button combinations, but like Mortal Kombat's kind of pitch perfect, which is why like I'm actually having a tough time learning some of the combos with some of the characters, because the combo system they totally changed up with this game and kind of how that works. So I'm learning more of it kind of as I play through the game. But I like just how deep and complex you can really get with it. Like, and you can honestly just with some characters, you could probably, juggle them like half or 3/4 of their health bar if you actually do things correctly.
I want to watch you play this. Did you stream it earlier today, Ryan?
I tried to stream it yesterday when the direct happened, but my capture card died when I tried to use it. And
did it really?
It hasn't worked since. So,
oh, for God's sakes! Oh yeah, man,
I know. So it works with its local recording feature, so we can still probably record gameplay and put it up on the site. But I can't actually stream with it at momently because the PC slider just doesn't work right now. I haven't been able to figure out why.
You can stream to. Can you not stream to Twitch from Xbox?
Yeah, I actually probably could do that.
Well, just as an option. But that sucks that the card died.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It might be as simple as, weird driver issues on my computer more than anything.
Classic.
But I have to figure. I just haven't had time to really sit down and figure.
Fair.
Since no, because it, like I said, just happened yesterday. But yeah, I know Drellesh asked the important question: does the story make sense? It makes sense, and I actually think like this is actually a good jumping in point for someone who hasn't played the Mortal Kombat games, like more than ever, because like it doesn't have a lot of the baggage of the other stuff. You're mostly like learning what the characters are now like, along with us, like the longtime fans. Because I mean, there's like I basically have to relearn who Melina is or Katana is, because they're very different characters from the old games. So I actually think like this is like a really good starting off point if you haven't been playing with these games. And then the things that you do need to know from the older ones, they do a good job of in the game of like spelling it out for you so that you kind of get caught up a little bit. But yes,
I like it.
So far, so good with this game. I am really, really enjoying it. And honestly, in a year that's tough for fighting games between this and Street Fighter 6 and some other stuff, like this might be my favorite fighting game so far this year. But I'm going to hold that judgment back a little bit till I finish the game. But I'm really enjoying this one. But
nice.
I've got some Mortal Kombat questions from the Discord that I'm going to answer. So first up, we got Rod Anti-Macro, who asked the question, an age-old question: as graphics continue to improve, is Mortal Kombat's violence getting too graphic? Should they consider the option to dial back the fatalities? So I personally don't mind the level of gore that's here. I'm also someone that watches a whole lot of horror movies, though, so I may be the wrong person to answer this type of question. And maybe, Sean, I would love to hear what you think about this. But I personally wish they would have an option in the game to kind of reduce the gore if that's something you want. Like almost if there's like sliders or something you could toggle in the options to do that.
Just squeaky toys, break instead of like ripping a heart out, just like
yeah, exactly. Or you just rip someone's spine up, and instead of seeing the spine, it's a bunch of toy cars coming out of their head,
like barrel of monkeys all interlinked.
Exactly, like something like that. Yeah, they could play around with stuff like that, because I don't know if you've seen some of the videos going around, Sean, but some of the fatalities they did some goofy things with. Like you've seen Kill Bill, right?
Oh yeah, many
so
times.
Like the exploding heart move from Kill Bill. That's Shang Tsung's fatality in this
amazing
game. Yeah. So
and they really they take the 5 steps and then that's
it is yes, it is literally that. It's like the move. He does the moves exactly on the chest correct, and then the person moves and the heart explodes. Like actually explodes.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
I'd actually love a Kill Bill game. That'd be amazing.
Me too. Well, a lot of people are calling for the Bride to be in this game because they're like
because
he's no stranger to having new character, like movie characters in their games, and the Bride would actually be really awesome in a game like this.
I love it. Yeah. I adore that. Also shout out to Anti-Macro, calls me up last week and goes like, hey, you want to come to the football game? We went to an Edmonton Elks game together. Got to bring my kids, and they'd never been to a football game. And they went home literally saying that we're in the parking lot. They're going, this is the best day of our lives. Like, dude, we had an amazing time. It was actually good, even though CFL, I'd not normally want to speak anything positive about the Canadian Football League at all. But we had a great time. So shout out to Macro on that one.
That's awesome. I'm glad they had a good time.
And I bring it up also because I think of the kids when talking about Mortal Kombat. And I think maybe similar to you, Ryan, like let it be as gory as humanly possible. Like for some reason, the more gory it gets, the more like outrageous it is. And it's almost funny. And I believe like this might be an unpopular opinion, but I believe we need something to exist at the outermost edge of boundaries, whatever that happens to be. They should just be like way further than you ever imagine. And I don't know what exactly benefit that creates for us, but there's something about that.
No, and they have fun with it. Like, it's not like you never like take the fatalities now seriously. Like they're all for the jokes, for the memes. Like,
because they were pretty serious originally, right? Like, it's a different tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But although it's funny if you go back and watch the old fatalities from like the first Mortal Kombat, because it's just like, why were parents even complaining in the first place?
I don't know about that. I think there's still plenty. I mean, depending on if you're playing on Super Nintendo, maybe. But Genesis, there's plenty to complain about.
Ah, it's fine. You know, the dripping blood after you rip or Scorpion just incinerating someone. It's fine.
I feel like that was I remember thinking that one wasn't scary at all. But as soon as you start like knocking dudes off of the platforms and they fall down into the spikes, like that's good stuff. That's
or like
really
Kano just ripping some dude's heart out. Like it's Temple of Doom all over again.
Pretty much. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that they should back off at all.
No, I don't think so either.
And then just play something else, I guess. I don't know if that's again, it probably sounds as very flippant, but if you don't like the gore, then don't.
Oh, it's a mature rated game for a reason. Like they very much lean into that mature rating. And just this point, I kind of wish they would bring back babalities. Like that's something that I kind of miss from the old, Mortal Kombat games, is doing those are like friendships where like you decide to be friends and then you do like the rainbow with your hands in friendship. But I wish they did more of those. Like I almost wish they leaned into it more and did some more jokey finishers that were not just fatalities, but you could do like different things. They've also got brutalities in this one too, as well, which are even more gruesome than fatalities, Sean.
Yeah, it's for us twisted weirdos, who enjoy this kind of weird stuff.
Like if you're into horror movies, like I think it's the same kind of thing. That's how I kind of equate to it. But
and there's still a right way to do it. It's not, you can't just like gross people out. And so maybe that's the question too, is like,
that's true.
How do you find that balance? But it sounds like they've done it correctly.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Donnie Reese.
Oh,
who asked the question, and this one's kind of for both of us. If you could add an Xbox character to Mortal Kombat, who would you choose and why? So, I think the obvious pick for this one is Kate from Gears of War.
Oh, that's funny. I was really worried you're going to take my answer, but keep going.
I feel like Gears kind of fits like the same kind of mold with like the gore and everything else, the fatalities, and like a Gears character makes too much sense for this question. Like I would say Kate. I think she's a good choice. But what do you say, Marcus, Sean?
I was gonna say General Rom, but
that's a good one too.
He's in Killer Instinct. As soon as I was just about to say, like, I just realized he actually is in Killer Instinct, which is amazing. And Killer Instinct often gets forgotten about. I mean, we're not really talking about fighting games.
No, Sean. That update's coming for Killer Instinct soon. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that. That looks great. And Killer Instinct's a good game. Again, I know you're holding the torch, man. You're upholding the entire thing here. The only one talking about any fighting games in 2023 on our circuit of podcasts. So I'm not. This is not about you, but I'd love to get back into Killer Instinct. And as I was just about to say, General Rom, or even just overall in Donnie's question, if you're looking for Xbox characters in Mortal Kombat, like maybe you look over at Killer Instinct. A bunch of them. There's Battletoads in there. It's good.
You got the Arbiter. You got some other characters. Yeah, there's no fatalities. But
the Ultra combos.
Yeah, that's true. Another good character that I thought of would be Senua. I would love to see a Senua in Mortal Kombat with her sword. Like that's
a good one.
Yeah.
But nice.
All right, moving on. Last Mortal Kombat question comes to us from Taylor, aka TPR, aka Trevor, who asked the question: what would you like to see in a Mortal Kombat animated TV show? I'm thinking Castlevania style. So, first of all, TPR, I don't know if you knew this, but they actually have been doing a recent string of Mortal Kombat animated films that are done by like the DC animated films crew. And they've actually been pretty good. Like one focused on Scorpion, one focused on Kenshi, and they've done a bunch of them. Which almost makes me not want like a Mortal Kombat series. Like I just don't think it needs it. Especially because like the stories you would probably tell in a Mortal Kombat series would be very similar to what you get in the games, because in a way, Sean, the story, the campaign story that you get in Mortal Kombat 1 as an example, just feels like a season of a Mortal Kombat TV show. To the point where I almost don't feel like you don't need an actual Mortal Kombat show. Like I think movies do a good job, or as well there's Mortal Kombat comics as well.
That's what I was gonna say. Like when Injustice was a thing, the Injustice comics are pretty good, man.
Yeah. Like I've heard the good things about the Mortal Kombat comics too. So I think like that's maybe the avenue I go in versus a TV show. So that's why there isn't really like I don't really have a list of things that I really want from a Mortal Kombat TV show, other than maybe, you know, if they really want to recreate the story again from the games, they can do that. But then you're kind of you're treading the same water as the movies do too. Which is why I'm not really, you know, too into that. But I don't know.
Jace just got me with Mortal Comics.
Yep.
With a K. Well, on both. Well, Sean, I like that.
I don't know if you noticed on the docket, I labeled Mortal Kombat questions with a K. Because
of course. Questions.
Questions. Just like Chocobo.
Questions.
All right. I'm slamming the brakes on this conversation, Sean.
Oh, snap.
No more Mortal Kombat. It's time for some breaking news. Mortal Kombat's a good game, folks. Go play it. So we had, of course, a Sony State of Play and a Nintendo Direct, Sean, that happened yesterday. And while a lot of that news doesn't pertain to us over at Xbox Land, I picked out the highlights of what actually does affect us over at Xbox Land. First up, an expansion for Tales of Arise called Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn will launch on November 9th. It will take place after the main campaign ends and give you about 20 more hours of Tales of Arise combat content. Bandai has also confirmed that your save will not carry over, as they wanted to have everyone be able to jump in, even if they haven't finished the main campaign. Although I still don't see why you would do that, because it spoils the ending of the game for you. But you can if you want to. But I'm really excited about this. First of all, the trailer looked really good. I love Tales of Arise, and you know, I'm a little bummed that we're not getting just a new Tales game instead of this. But I do like the idea if they're going to do a sequel at all, like doing it like this rather than doing like a whole extra 100-hour game is probably the better way to go if they have more story to tell.
Sounds like there's a bunch of sounds like a bunch of gameplay though. I didn't see the video though, Ryan. Like I read the press release, I think it was on this, and what I was able to discern from this was just dungeons and boss battles. But I don't know.
There's a brand new story. Yeah, they showed it there was a trailer during the State of Play. It's probably up on Bandai Namco's YouTube channel. That showed off the new story bits as well, because there's a brand new character that they're introducing to the party, and you're kind of like escorting her on this mission. Kind of
a lot of people hit me up on this, Ryan, which I absolutely love when something like this happens, and then Tales of Arise, and people are like, Sean, did you see this? Like that's a fun thing, because I don't often get that with this style of game, but people do know that.
Especially people will remember that conversation me, and Matt had last year, or not last year, 2 years ago, because it's been 2 years since this game came out, which is crazy to think about.
Well, yeah, I have to correct Matt on one thing, though. He said that this is the game. I was listening to the PlayStation Drive. He was excited about this. He mentioned me, and in that, like, this is the game that got me into this style of game. Not quite true. Played Scarlet Nexus just before that. And of course, like, really, the game was Persona, if we're being honest. Like, that was the one. So it's been a little bit earlier, but this game is very special. It's very cool. I don't know why, Ryan. I think I have my doubts on if I want to play this. Maybe only because I enjoyed the first, whatever it was, 3/4 of the game, and then the last part of the story went to a place, like literally went to a place I was like, I don't think this is what I was enjoying with this game. So I'm very curious what this story that they've got, this new character, like what's going on. It was all the stuff before, and man, I'd love to go back and listen to that conversation, because we did a spoiler-free portion, right? And then we went into Spoiler Town. So
we had a big 2-hour conversation. It's on the YouTube channel if y'all want to go back and listen to it.
I did, Drellesh. Drellesh in the chat says, did you play Tales of Arise, Sean? I'm not sure if you're being silly, Drellesh, but I'll take it as a serious question. I did play this game, and I loved it. It was my number 2, maybe number 1 game of the year that year. It was really good.
Yeah, that was
I think
it was Forza that was your favorite game. That
might have been a Forza game. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was, but it's the only rough part about this is like, I wish it would have come out sooner, because 2 years after the game came out is a long time.
It's the same year as Halo Infinite, Forza Horizon 5, and then Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. This game was really good. So I'm gonna check this one out, I think, because it comes out in November where we don't have as much stuff coming out that month. So I think I'll be able to carve out some time to play this. But
I like it.
Yeah. Moving on. Speaking of DLC, Sean, to get excited about, Resident Evil 4's DLC pack Separate Ways officially launches on September 21st. This DLC stars Ada Wong, and it serves to fill in the gaps in the later part of the story. And it itself is a remake of the expanded content first introduced in the PS2 version of Resident Evil 4. Because when Resident Evil 4 came to the PS2 from the GameCube, Sean, they had to give people a reason to go buy Resident Evil 4 again. And so they created this, separate campaign starring Ada Wong that was kind of like this side story that you do with the kind of the last 2 chapters of Resident Evil 4. And this kind of fills in the gaps of what Ada's doing during the story. So they're remaking that DLC this time around. I'm really interested to see what they change with this, though. But more than anything, like Resident Evil 4, still one of the best games that came out this year, Sean. And this DLC, if it lives up to that at all, I think it's going to be pretty good. So I'm excited to check this out next week. Like, it literally comes out on Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah. I think you probably returned your copy, right? Of Resident Evil 4.
I can get it back. I don't know if you know what I would rather do, Ryan, is go back and play Resident Evil 2 and
you should do that.
Is it Claire?
Yeah, you got to do Claire's campaign.
I probably should do that.
Yeah.
Pretty good, says Jace. Yeah, I don't know. Both these stories, DLC, like I'm not typically one to go like, yes, give it to me now. That's true. Not really.
Yeah, good point.
So,
well, then we got new games to talk about, Sean.
Okay.
3 of them, in fact. We got Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, the new spiritual successor to the Suikoden games, finally has a release date. We've been waiting for this game for like 3 years now. It'll launch on Xbox,
both of us.
It'll launch on Xbox One on April 23rd. So it's coming up pretty soon.
Xbox One.
Yeah.
Shout out to anybody still playing Xbox One out there. Anybody listening to the Xbox Drive and you're playing on an Xbox One. No joking around. I'm not trying to mess with you. I want to know.
We want to know.
What's that like?
Yeah. What's the old VCR like these days? We want to know.
And that's actually, yeah, if you're playing on original Xbox One day one kind of thing, that'd be cool. I was even thinking like even with a 1X, miss that 1X. That 1X is good stuff. That's a good console.
I have one of those sitting in my mom's garage.
Mine's right here, like right behind me.
That's true.
Yep.
It's got the gears on it.
The gears.
Yeah.
It's got the gears.
Next up, Sean, the newest game by 13 Sentinels developer Vanillaware has been revealed. It's called Unicorn Overlord.
This is coming to Xbox.
And it's a real-time tactical role-playing game and it'll arrive on Xbox One, Sean. Xbox One on March 8th. It's important to note that this will be Vanillaware's very first game on the Xbox platform.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to include it here because I know I'm like the one person that's like over the moon excited for Unicorn Overlord, but more so because like Vanillaware is one of my very favorite video game companies just in general nowadays. And they've never made a game for Xbox before. So the fact that this is coming to Xbox, like 13 Sentinels skipped Xbox, Dragon's Crown skipped Xbox, like all their games have skipped Xbox in the past. So this is finally coming to Xbox. I'm so excited for this game to come out. There's actually, Yarden points out there's a nice collector's edition for this game. And there's an Xbox version of it because it's coming to Xbox, Sean. Get hyped. It's coming.
Can't you tell how hyped I am, Ryan, for this? This is amazing.
Unicorn Overlord, Sean. Just think about that name.
It's such a ridiculous name. It really is. But like to your point, for games to stop skipping Xbox is kind of the win if you're an Xbox fan. Like that is a big deal. And I'm curious to see what this game is like. Like as silly as that name is, we talked about this on the Nintendo Drive, and people should definitely check out our joint reaction along with Seth, Amanda, and Locklith as well. We had 5 of us on the Nintendo Drive talking about a lot of this stuff. So jump on over there, check it out if you haven't already. But that name is so ridiculous, but there's something about it. It's not the premise, I'll tell you that much. The lead into the story of this, I'm like, dude, who are these character names? Who cares about anything that's going on? But there is something. It's a beautiful looking presentation, and in a new way, but also in a very classical RPG kind of styling. So I don't know. Probably not for me, but I'm intrigued.
No, definitely. Like this is 100% like Ryan needs to put this on the dock because this is like a very
Ryan
story.
Garrett Bland,
And actually,
RPG
like
Cave.
the RPG Cave Discord. I mentioned this on the Nintendo Drive yesterday. RPG Cave Discord has been popping off about this game. People are very excited about this.
That's awesome.
But then Sean, I'm crossing out this Tomb Raider story because I'm excited. First of all, the 3 Tomb Raider games, original 3 Tomb Raider games, are coming to Xbox. Cool. February 14th. Get excited. But the bigger news, Sean, that was just announced over on X, the platform X, Limited Run Games have announced the worst game ever, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties Definitive Edition, comes to Xbox on December 8th. Let's go, everybody. Of course, this is an old game from the 3DO, which is basically it's a PowerPoint slideshow that you watch of like these images of these people doing things, and it's got this really bad voiceover. But man, this remaster looks really good. There's like a 4-minute trailer up for it, Sean, with a whole bunch of industry people talking about how this game's really bad and why it's important to have bad games come back, and I'm excited for it. So there you go.
Who is directing this show? Who's making these choices of
Aren't you glad I came back from my break,
Raider and spending any more than 3.5 seconds on whatever the hell that was?
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties Definitive Edition. Yes.
Oh man, Tomb Raider.
The best part is there's a plumber in that game, Sean, and he does wear a tie.
Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 remastered looks great. You can flip it back to the original and back to the remastered. It looks incredible. Like, give that to me right now. I can't believe I have to wait until February 14th. Honestly, Ryan, probably what I'll be doing on Valentine's. We don't celebrate Valentine's Day around these parts.
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm just alone, Sean, so I just don't really celebrate Valentine's Day anyways.
You and me both, buddy. You and me both.
But it's Lara Croft's birthday, Sean. That's why it's coming out on Valentine's Day, because that's
makes sense. Very meta. I like that very much.
I mentioned on Nintendo Drive last night too. I'm also very excited for the Lara Croft collection, because those were games that, you know, I was playing as a teenager when I was really into PC games. Like those, I was playing all those games on PC and just really enjoying them. Like those were like I got like Tomb Raider 1 and 2 for Christmas. In like the weird PC boxes that was almost like this weird like rhombus looking shape.
Yes, man. Dude, I was playing that with my 3DFX accelerator. Like Lara was on the back of the box, the Diamond Voodoo 2, 12 megabytes of VRAM. Oh my gosh. Dude.
Especially because she was such an icon at the time, Sean, to the point where like Tomb Raider 2 is like Tomb Raider 2 starring Lara Croft.
Of course. Oh, dude, they mastered it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was when she was like in like Visa commercials and all kinds of like weird car commercials and stuff. Like
Angelina Jolie movies.
She was also in Playboy as well, because of course.
That's weird. That's weird. Yeah. No, I don't like that.
That's what I mean.
I don't like it.
Why? Why was that a thing? I don't understand.
The 90s were a wild time. One of the reasons, Ryan, I'm excited about this is I feel like after 3, the game started to you wondered what direction they were going in. And they always, I remember when every next game came out, you're like, man, this isn't quite like 2. Even 3 kind of started to get a little bit off track, but still within that core, what makes a Tomb Raider game a Tomb Raider game. Like things kind of just got a little nuts.
Well, you could tell like the developers were like, and there's actual stories about this. In fact, this would actually make like a really good Pit Stop Retro Gaming episode at one point.
Oh, nice.
But the developers, there's a lot of stories from them at Core Design, which were the original developers of Tomb Raider, talking about how after 3 they were kind of burned out on the franchise, and they
what do you do?
They just didn't want to work on. Like you see a little bit in 3, but like the last Revelation, the next game, which takes place in a pyramid and has mummies in it and stuff, like. That was something they just didn't want to work on. And then when it came to like the 5th game, they're like, we are killing Lara Croft.
They literally killed her. Yes.
So then we never have to work on this gosh darn franchise ever again. And then they got roped into it again with Angel of Darkness, which is one of the worst games on the PS2. Period.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Well, because she comes back like after death. Like that's
they like revive her. There's like some weird necromancer revives her. It's weird.
I'm very glad we're like diving into these story beats, because I was kind of dancing around it by saying like they kind of didn't know, like they kind of got weird. What's the core? But yeah, let's just tell people what actually happened. In these games.
Crystal Dynamics like brought that series back from the dead, because it was dead. I'm so glad that they did too. Because I love the Tomb Raider games. Like that's
very good,
especially like the like anything after Tomb Raider Legends. All those games are really good. And then, of course, the Tomb Raider movie with Alicia Vikander, which was good too.
I never saw that one.
And then the modern trilogy of Tomb Raider games are all good too. So, like, lots of good
good stuff.
Yeah. All right, Sean, let's let some of our friends into the car with us. It is time for the carpool. We got 2 questions this week. First one coming from Nagachaka, which of course inspired the thumbnail and the title of this video, even though we're getting to this topic 50 minutes into the episode, but whatever. That's how we roll here. YOLO. Nagachaka says, now that we've had a Nintendo Direct and a Sony State of Play, and we know who won, when do you think we'll get an Xbox showcase? Do you think we even need one at this point, since we already have Starfield to entertain us for the next little while anyways? So first up, Nagachaka, real quick, there is an Xbox showcase coming up, but is the TGS Xbox Digital Broadcast. That's actually happening on September 21st at 5 a.m. Eastern time, because it's in Japan. It's for TGS. So it's literally next Thursday. We will have kind of the update. And what they're going to talk about there is, new games or updates on games currently in development by Japanese developers. And also brand new Game Pass editions, which generally every time they've done one of these, Sean, there's usually like, here are 5 awesome Japanese games that haven't been on Xbox before. And not only are they on Xbox now, but they're also on Game Pass.
Like what fits the bill there for you, Ryan?
I have, after the announcement of Unicorn Overlord, Sean, I think 13 Sentinels is kind of a lock for this.
Oh,
nice. That's coming to Xbox because they want that. Like Sega wants that gosh darn game on every platform, I think. And I think it's finally coming to Xbox. So
that is a good one. Jace was saying just before it's coming to PS Plus, it looks like.
Yeah. Which we around the same time as this presentation's happening. Like it's kind of aligning.
Cool.
It makes sense.
Lock it down. Clip it. This is the one. This is your moment, Ryan. I love this. Yes. Yeah. I hope it happens.
I've given up hope that it'll be Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't think it'll be something like that. But I think
I like the reverse psychology on that.
Yeah. I actually think, even though it's already on Xbox, I actually think AI, the Somnium Files Nirvana initiative might come to Game Pass.
Okay.
Because we had the first AI game on Game Pass, and I actually think they'll probably do the second one on Game Pass as well. So we might get that. Other than that, I think Catherine Full Body has a chance of actually coming to Xbox.
Dude,
for once.
Good pick.
Because that one's been sitting there forever on PlayStation and Switch and just avoided Xbox. And again, that's another Atlas game. And I haven't even ruled out other Vanillaware games like Dragon's Crown.
Catherine has not been on Xbox. Hang on. I'm sorry to interrupt. I thought Catherine was on Xbox.
Catherine, the Xbox 360 version was on Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
The remake Catherine Full Body, which came to PlayStation 4 and Switch, skipped Xbox, which was weird because it started on Xbox.
That is, that's, I'm like, hang on. I'm sorry. I'm missing something. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Like that. It just, like that's like a slam dunk. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And Sega now, of course, is kind of in bed with Xbox, where they're like, you can have everything. Just take all our stuff, because it seems like people will actually play it, or at least you're giving us enough money from the Game Pass bag that you're giving us to at least justify doing this. So, those are some of my picks. But I also think you can see some like smaller titles as well. I'm just interested to see what comes out of that showcase, because I think more than ever, we're starting to see the Japanese developers warm up to Xbox a lot more. And I think we could actually get some good surprise announcements from the showcase of games that might already be on other platforms or have recently been announced for another platform, but are also coming to Xbox and launching the same day on Xbox. So I think it's cool that we're getting this showcase. But beyond this, as far as when we get the next showcase from Xbox, Sean, like that's more up in the air. I don't personally, to Nagachaka's point, with people playing Starfield right now, I don't honestly think they need one for the rest of the year.
Agreed.
Unless they want to do like a Forza specific one, like one that focuses on Forza Motorsport.
I would like that very much personally. Yes. TGS, I think, is a great opportunity for them to do their thing. I also think that you're going to see it presented in a non-Nintendo Direct fashion. Like it's not really going to be the style that we enjoy over here. And that's got it. Like, we're just going to have to, I think, accept that. And also, like, dude, Nintendo and PlayStation just going head to head on the same day. I don't know. I don't know if that really worked out for PlayStation. If I'm being honest, like I think that the announcements were way more exciting on Nintendo, and that's, for some people, that's not even saying all that much. A lot of people didn't love the Nintendo Direct. So
the Final Fantasy the Final Fantasy 7 hype trailer got people really hyped.
That's good.
That, you're right. Like I don't know what else people are really talking about besides that.
I shouldn't overlook that, because that is a big thing. Yeah, that game looks really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, TGS coming up, and then Game Awards is right around the corner. So don't distract from Starfield. Forza is coming. It should have its own thing. I do feel like the games are very different and spaced out, pardon the pun, but like there's enough time in between that I don't know if you're going to have like what happened with Forza Horizon 5, which was great, and then Halo came and kind of killed it, really.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening this way. I think Starfield was the right one to come out first, even if it meant not having maps until Forza is out anyway.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I think get something big at the Game Awards, and then do something in February or March, and we're good.
Yeah. I you're right. I think that, Xbox has traditionally always had something big at Game Awards every single year. And I imagine this year is no different, that they will have something there. And that's kind of what you need to tie it over.
Release date for Senua. We're going to get a release date for Senua at the Game Awards.
Or Avowed could be the other one, because we know that's also next year as well.
I need to have another look at Avowed. I don't know where I'm at with that one.
Yeah.
Ryan. Don't know.
Yeah. So there you go. Nagachaka, thank you for the question. And last but not least, Kevin Ainsworth, the Muffin Mon, with the final question. And this one's kind of Starfield related, but not really. He asks, after 40 hours of Starfield, I have done the main quest, all faction quests, and all side quest log. It's bare bones. I'm starting to feel like I might actually be done with the game. Curious what you two want to accomplish before you consider yourselves done, in quotations, with a game of this size. Well, I mean, we talked about it earlier. I haven't gone back to Starfield yet, so I don't know if I ever will. Like, I don't know if I'm actually done, but it's just like, I don't know. I like with a game like this, because as you know, Sean, I'm not really like a completionist when it comes to a lot of my games. Like, like if there's a game that I'm really in love with that I fall down the rabbit hole, I'll do the 100% completion for. Like River City Girls was like a 2 was a good one from last year that I did like the 100% for, because I really, really enjoyed that game. But if it gets to the moment with a game like this where I'm not having fun anymore, regardless of how much there's left to do in the game, I'm okay with just putting it down and just being done with it.
Yeah. Quits. I think this is a great question, especially for a game like this. And I am thinking about this game very much in the way that the question is being asked, because I wanted to completely survey a planet. Like I got all the traits there. I did all the flora and the fauna and the resources, did the whole thing, and all the fun that came along with that. I leveled up a bunch of times. That was really what I just completed before coming here. And I wanted that experience to a certain extent. And it's part of what I do like about No Man's Sky. I like just wandering around and gathering resources. That's cool. I don't know why it clicks for me, but I got that. And I might do that maybe a few more times before I'm satiated there and maybe move on. I really want to kind of, I don't know if the word is max out, but feel like I got a lot out of space battles. I want like a shipyard full of gigantic ships, these things that haul a whole bunch for me, and like they all do different kind of, like they play a different role for me. Maybe I've got a tiny little space fighter, maybe something that I can smuggle things around. And I want to do that. I want to have like a whole bunch of different experiences flying around in space. And I'm about to embark on that. I do want to do the story stuff as well. There's a whole bunch of like pockets of this game that I still want to do. And honestly, it impacts the way that I play, because I avoid the story missions, and perhaps I shouldn't. I've done the Into the Unknown, the one that everybody tells me to do. Please feel free to gently guide me if you are like Kevin out there, you've beaten the game and there's a mission after that you feel I should play. Like, steer me in the right direction. Don't tell me what is going to happen, but maybe there's a reason to jump back onto the main story path. But yeah, there's kind of, you can almost like see or feel like the components of this game, the pillars of it. And I want to go kind of experience that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, again, like I'm in a similar way where like if there's a game like this that I'm really, really enjoying, like I'll build like a checklist in my brain of like the things I want to do before I kind of
I want an outpost. I want like a home, like a gigantic home, or like a space station. If I can do that as well. I want to do those things. That's why I'm playing on PC, because a lot of these things I would like to do with a keyboard and mouse. Yarden says, jump back onto the main story path. Okay. Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
You're too good for your home. That's your home.
And that's when the show
classic Happy Gilmore reference, Ryan. Come on.
That's true.
Come on, man.
The end, Sean. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Before we go, Sean.
Is that the end? I had a fun time with you, man. It's good times.
Me too. It was fun.
I want people to start thinking about Extra Life, Ryan. Rome, New York. We are part of Phoenix Overdrive, the amazing Extra Life team led by the fearless leader, Lee Navarro, one of our ultimate producers. And it's coming up. It's less than 2 months away. If you can come to Rome, if you're in the area, even if you're not, it's hopefully easy for you to get to. If you have questions about it, reach out to me. You don't have to stream. If you want to stream, you can stream. We'll have you all set up and everything. It's a very cool experience. You don't have to do that. You can come hang out. We're going to have a couch. We're going to all give each other hugs. Maybe I won't put the call out with the touching. Ryan.
We'll see, Sean.
Extra Life is happening. Join us in the Discord. Is a great place to ask questions about it. There's literally an Extra Life channel in there, and we're all talking about it. So jump on in. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Sean Capri, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. And apparently on Friday evenings, I'm streaming at twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming Live, hopefully a little bit more. And I think that's all. Is that all I have, Ryan?
That's it. That's all, man. Extra Life is coming up, man. I'm excited. We're going to be there together, Sean.
Heck yeah.
As well as other people.
Vampire Survivors co-op. We've got Trombone Champ co-op. We're going to play WarioWare. And
these all sound like terrible choices. I kind of
Forza Motorsport.
I'm gonna bring good games, Sean. I'm gonna bring Charlie's Angels on the GameCube. I'm gonna bring Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness on PlayStation 2. I'm gonna bring Barbie Horse Adventures. It's gonna be a good time, Sean. We're gonna put Ryan in the corner, everybody. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties will be out around that time, Sean. We can play that. But anyways, you can find me over on X. That's on X. There you go.
Xbox.
X at Ryan Turfer. You can also find us on Xbox at Carpool Gaming. You can also find us right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. And of course, podcast services around the globe. So for Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turfer. This has been episode 308 of the Xbox Drive, and we're out. Bye. Hey, Donnie.
No power greater than X.
Hey, Donnie and Sean.